Welcome to Get Lit. I'm Kate.
And I'm Pat, and welcome to the Civic Center Library here at Scottsdale.
We're here to share our beautiful library with you, as well as some services, books, and more that we're really excited about.
And we think you will be too. So, come
on
on in with
us.
us.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Get Lit, and we are following up our last edition of Get Lit, wherein we talked about 5 new exciting titles of 2021. We're going to follow it up with 5 more, which you can get here at your Scottsdale Public Library. Pat's going to start us off.
I am. Today I'm going to start out with the novel called Burnt Sugar by Agni Dashi. Burnt Sugar is the debut novel by Agni Dashi, an American writer of Indian origin. Dashi wrote the novel over the course of 7 years, and it tells the story of a troubled mother-daughter relationship in Pune, India. In her youth, Tara was wild. She abandoned her loveless marriage to join an ashram, endured a brief stint as a beggar, mostly to spite her affluent parents, and spent years chasing after a disheveled, homeless artist, all with her young child in tow. But now, she's forgetting things, mixing up her maid's wages, leaving the gas on all night, and her grown-up daughter, and Tara, is faced with the care of caring for a woman who never cared for her. This is a love story, and it's a story about betrayal, but not between lovers, between mother and daughter. Sharp as a blade and laced with caustic wit, Agni Dashi tests the limits of what we can know for certain about those we are closest to, and by extension, about ourselves. I think it'll be most interesting, maybe a little sad, but I think it's worth a good read. Thank you.
All right. Fans, and there are many, of The Sympathizer by Viet Thanh Nguyen have really been looking forward to its sequel, The Committed. The Sympathizer had our nameless main character working as an undercover agent on behalf of the communists inside the South Vietnam military. Now the war is over. He has escaped to Paris, his father's homeland, and is sort of under the care of his best friend, but idealistic opposite, Bon. And he finds himself in a position, of all places, of having to be a capitalist and to sell drugs. It's ostensibly a crime novel. There's action in it, there's gunplay, there's a great deal of humor and a great deal of French philosophy in it. So we talked about what it was to be human in the last edition of Get Lit. This is really also about what it is to be human, but where your love and loyalties lie. And what is it idealistically okay to do and still hold on to your beliefs? Whom are you allowed to love or keep as a friend? And so he hasn't exactly turned into Lee Child here, but he's definitely going to have a lot of fans if you're a fan of action. It's sort of action and drugs and excitement, but with a good deal of existential thought mixed in. So once again, The Committed, Viet Thanh Nguyen. By the way, the Sympathizer, the one before this, won the Pulitzer Prize. So keep an eye out to see where this one goes.
What a great recommendation. So this book, The Removal by Brandon Hodson, steeped in Cherokee myth and history, a novel about a fractured family reckoning with the tragic death of their son long ago. Brandon Hodson had given us a haunted work full of voices old and new. It is about a family's reckoning with loss and injustice, and is about a people trying for the same. The journey of this family's way home is met in equal measure of melancholy and love. The removal is a spirited, droll, and quietly devastating as rain lifting from the earth to the sky. Drawing deeply on Cherokee folklore, the removed, seamlessly blends the real and spiritual to activate the deep reservations of trauma. A meditation on family grief and the power of stories in both our personal and ancestral level. Thank you.
The last one I have today is No One Is Talking About This by Patricia Lockwood. Patricia Lockwood is truly an author for right now, for the time in which we live. She became famous, first of all, by posting tweets that became immortal for different reasons. She did a review of Paris, the city. Is Paris any good or not, as a tweet? And it became viral, and everyone was commenting on it. And finally, the Paris Review had to write a reply to her tweet. That's how big her audience had gotten. A little bit later, she wrote a poem called The Rape Joke, which was an autobiographical poem about an experience from earlier in her life. And that also went viral. She has got a great big internet following, but she began to start to really consider actually writing paper books once she had this big following. And so many of you may already know her memoir. I call it a partial memoir because she's still quite young. She was born in '85, called Priest Daddy, which was a very unusual thing. Her life certainly is unusual. She had the honor, you could say, the unusual privilege of being raised by an ordained priest. How is that possible? Her father found religion after he was already 40 years old, and by special dispensation from Pope John Paul II was allowed to become a priest, although he already had a wife and a family. He's into rock and roll, and it's very unusual. So we get that memoir first, which is full of humor. And this is her first novel. And it is very much her. It reads like bits of the internet, like tweets. The first half of the novel, you have a nameless narrator, and she's writing little bits of stuff and commentary, just like how you might see on the internet, like tweets or Instagram posts. Second half of the novel, she's been called back by her sister who's in desperate need of her help to take care of her daughter, her sister's daughter, the author's niece, or the main character's niece, who has, I think, an unnamed congenital birth defect. So the second half of the novel is also written in short bursts, but not so much like it's between Instagram posts, but as if it's in between caring for a child with special needs. Her language is addictive, and she really is very much a poet, even when writing prose. And so I would say she really is sort of an author for the millennial and Generation Z. This sort of is what writing from an internet perspective is going to look like. So eagerly awaited also by the masses.
Well, I think that one is eagerly awaited by me. I'm going to put my name on that reserve list, so hurry up, folks. And so, for the final book of our Kirkus Reviews series, this one sounds like so much fun. The others have been a bit heavy, if you will. And this one is The Slaughterman's Daughter by Yavik Iskovitz. An irresistible tale of two Jewish sisters in the late 19th century Russia. The Slaughterman's Daughter is filled with boundless imagination and vibrant style, as well as enough intrigue and misadventure to stupefy the Coen brothers. With her reputation, and forgive my pronunciation, Vilde Haya, wild animal, Fanny Kiesman isn't like the other women in her shtetl in the Pale of Settlement, certainly not her obedient and anxiety-ridden sister, Mende, whose philosopher of a husband, V. Meyer, has run off to Minsk, abandoning her and her 2 children. As a young girl, Fanny felt a pull toward her father's profession of ritual slaughterer, and under his reluctant guidance became a master with a knife. And though she long ago gave up that unsuitable profession, she's now the wife of a cheese baker and a mother of 5. Fanny still keeps the knife tied to her right leg, which might come in handy when, heedless of the dangers facing a Jewish woman traveling through the Tsar's Russia, she sets off to track down Weimar and bring him home with the help of a mute and mysterious ferryman, Zizek Brezhnev, an ex-soldier with his own sensational past. Yevgeny Iskovich spins a family drama into a far-reaching comedy of errors that will pit the Tsar's army against the Russian secret police and threaten the very foundations of the Russian Empire. The Slaughterman's Daughter is a rollicking and unforgettable work of fiction. So begin your 2021 with a book of fun and humor and perhaps a little bit of history. Thank you.
Thank you, Pat. Well, and thank you, viewers, for joining us. And we have just one more thing before we go today.
Thank you.
Hello, everybody. In this edition, we're going to tell you about an exciting feature available to you that you may or may not have heard of. Did you know that we have book club kits for you that are available for you to check out? We call them Book Club to Go kits. And we're going to show you how to find them on our library website. When you go to our regular main page, which is scottsdalelibrary.org, and you go to the far left, the drop-down menu for Browse, you will click Books. Then if you scroll to the bottom of the resulting page, you'll see on the far right Book Club to Go, and you'll find 2 ways to view our Book Club to Go titles. One, with the Adobe next to it, the little Adobe symbol, is a printable list of available titles. Now you'll notice that not only is there a slew of regular adult fiction titles, but we also have large type, nonfiction, Spanish, and children and teen books. Now you can just go ahead and do a regular catalog search for any of those if you wish, but if we go back to our main page and type in Beautiful Ruins, we will see that it shows up right away. And you'll see the handy little icon that says 2012 under it. That was the publication date. That looks like a tote bag. That's another way you know that it's Book Club to Go. Let's check the availability. And we see that it is available at Civic Center Library. So then if you X out that page, you can put a request on it. And it's as simple as putting in your library card number and your PIN. What could be easier? So we surely hope you will take advantage of this service that we have available to you. And we look forward to seeing you the next time at the window or in person at Scottsdale Public Library.
Well, Kate, what's this?
Well, you know what? We were just talking about book clubs to go and Beautiful Ruins, right?
We were.
Well, this happens to be a Book Club to Go kit containing the kit for Beautiful Ruins. Would you like to do the honors?
All right. First off, each kit will have a notebook put together for you that will give you a summary of the story, information about the author, and then a wonderful book discussion guide to implement while you do your book discussion group.
That's right. And then aside from that, as you can see, the bag is still very heavy and full. In this case, you have 10 copies, hardcover, for the case of Beautiful Ruins, of your Book Club to Go title. So you and 9 other people can buckle down and read Beautiful Ruins for your book club. This is a beautiful hardcover edition. Now, some of our book clubs to go have softcover editions. But you can read them for your book club. They have a long checkout period, which Pat will elaborate upon. But also, say you happen to find it in a book club or just a search you did on the catalog for Beautiful Ruins. You desperately want to read Beautiful Ruins, but you can only find it available as a book club to go. Go ahead, check it out anyway. I mean, you might want to sit with some friends that all read together, but it is just one checkout for the 10 books. And then what were you going to tell us about the checkout
Well,
period?
it is a 45-day checkout. So what comes in handy with that is that you can check it out 45 days. You can give it to your book discussion group at your previous book discussion group, and then they'll have it ready to take home to get ready for the next book discussion group. You'll have your printable list that you can even plan ahead how many book discussion kits you might like to check out over a 5 or 6 month period. And finally, the last thing I wanted to comment, they have a wonderful selection of teen and children's books. That spring break is coming up. Perhaps you would like to get a book club kit to go for your children to create their own book club to go during spring break or this coming summer. Thank you.
Excellent idea, Pat. And thank you. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll see you next time.